Up into the last game of the night in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we can see two of the top teams dropping down right now. And ultimately, we want to remind you that you can look just like your favorite players. And if you can't choose who your favorite players are, you can just look like all of them. An exclusive, all-inclusive, in-game pack, $249.99 for every single team skin in the game.
And we're going to throw that bonus off-roader in there for free, the H1PL off-roader. That's actually my favorite one in the game right now. I love that skin.
Definitely a fan as well, but I'm also a fan of that circle that we saw last game. I'm really curious to see what we get when we get that first safe zone coming in for this game, because it was just such a pacemaker. It really did set the tempo of what we saw here in Week 6 to kick things off. It had just so much area that was already kind of taken out. We talked about seeing it in previous tournaments, in different metas, and we definitely saw these teams put on a show given that first circle.
Yeah, we saw the first circle. It was really aggressive. It created a lot of conflict very early in the match. We saw eliminations coming out as soon as the teams got in there. And you know what they can't do? They can't eliminate anybody without some help from our hardware sponsor. 75 rigs, 75 monitors, all the top-notch stuff for these guys to play on, run this game super smooth. Can't do it without them every single week. We love you, Republic of Gamers. Thank you so much for helping us out.
You know what else we love? A very, very early fight, and we could see that between Sweat to Destroy and Gangstars right now. Prodigy Ace is like a shark trying to take a chunk out of his prey, going to put in that early shot, instantly set on fire. Prodigy Ace is going to be swiveling all around and ultimately does find that shot, a very early kill. They are going to be heating up here. That's the first player taken out, and that is going to be very rough for Gangstars to recover from. And let's see exactly how it did go down, because Prodigy Aces played that very well, patiently coiled up like a snake.
Yeah, sitting here waiting for him to come out. Flanker has somebody inside. Can't really go back inside for cover there either, as Doug is Raw comes running through. So those two top slayers off a Set to Destroy going for that quick pinch onto Flanker. And Flanker being this close to them this early is really interesting. So we talked about spawns in the first match where we said that these guys kind of have their set locations. Set to Destroy always lands here. Gangstars has decided to jump on board and land in the area knowing that this is where Set to Destroy is going to be on the map. And they get punished for it.
They definitely do. I mean, hey, look, this is ultimately a team that we know loves those early game fights. Why serve them supper early? It seems like a very risky play from Gangstars, but we know that those risky plays are exactly what you do need to be going for here if you do want to catch up. And that is exactly what they're trying to do, because they know if they do take those early fights, that's the real way to be opening things up. You need to kind of hamstring that leading team by just a little bit. But what's this ring going to say to you, Jason?
So it's a ring similar to the one that we had before. We're going to lose a little bit in the south, like to Ruby Lake, but it's not in the middle of the safe zone. That's a much better starting point. We're losing a quarter, maybe a little bit less than that, to the edge of the map, which is going to make this circle still a little bit tighter than the ones that they're used to starting with, but not enough that we're going to see those same amount of early game kills that we saw last round. Unless there's something else that causes it, two teams run into each other, the circle itself isn't going to dictate that.
I mean, we've already seen these guys go for some early plays, even in how they pick their starting zones, Jason. Do you think maybe we start to see these guys going more and more for that kill meta?
I think that they have to. Anybody that isn't Set to Destroy needs to. They need to chase these down. They need eliminations. They need to get points on the board. Anybody that isn't Set to Destroy needs to be doing it.
That brings up a really important question. If you're Set to Destroy, there are two ways to look at things, as we actually do see this long-range gunfight going down just a little bit. But with these players, that is a fight that could very quickly become lethal. But what they actually are going to decide to do on the side of Noble, with Chance being that wielder of the weapon, is going to switch to the Magnum. We've already talked about this. This gun isn't going to be nearly as efficient as getting the kills in, but it is very good at hitting vehicles, making them weak, getting them to a position where you can remove them from the back pocket of your team. But back to Set to Destroy, Jason, because I really do want your opinion on this. They can play it two ways. They can do exactly what they've been doing, which is put them in first place, or they can try to play it a little bit safer, just based off the fact that they have this crazy lead. Maybe they don't want to be giving up as many deaths, and I gotta kind of side on just why not continue to just dominate.
That's 100% what they're going to do. Those players, every player on that team wants eliminations. They have no intent of slowing down. I don't expect them to play it safe. by any means, whatever you want to define safe as, that is not something that these guys know how to do. They may have been trying. They used to try to play that meta when that's what it was at Atlanta, at the DreamHack series. That's how they played. They didn't feel comfortable in it. This meta is where they feel comfortable. Just do what you do.
Exactly, and that's why we see guys like Doug Israel being our Week 5 MVP, right? He comes out, he's able to slay, and they still are out for blood. CLG has a decent performance in this circle in the past. We talk about them a little bit. How are they going to be adapting to this meta? We already know that they're trying to change things in this squad, getting more used to it instead of playing that incredibly passive playstyle that they were so good at. Ultimately, last game, though, they have 2 very early deaths, Jason, and it makes them look very weak in those future gunfights.
Hey, going down 2 bodies early in the way that they did puts them at a huge disadvantage for the rest of the match. I mean, we talk about it, resources, yada yada, same things that we always say, but it rings true every time. You lose a body early, you are going to be hurting late game, and losing those 2 to TSM early was not what they wanted to see happen. It was an unfortunate situation for them.
Well, Grimmy Bear is one of the players that does the best job at getting aggressive on this squad, and you can see him doing it right now. Really going to push Echo Fox away. They take away some of those resources that we did already mention, but they really do stand their ground as well, and now they're in a position where they can kind of leave their cars in these little fingers, these little grooves, and they get to just groove out in these grooves. They're going to be continuing to kind of stay there for a little bit, put in these shots, but Grimmy Bear already is knowing if we want to stay aggressive, we may have to go for a rotation.
Yeah, I actually love these mountains, this area, specifically for these grooves. I like to call them the fingers of the mountain as they come down. There's just so many little pockets that you can get into. Makes for some really fun close combat pushes, actually, which you typically don't want in competitive play. You don't want to have to be in those really close, high-stress situations. But for me as a caster, I love it.
It's easy. A lot of the times it's just one shot that's going to determine it, but ultimately we can see that the rotation could still be coming in here, but let's talk about that environment just a little bit more. A lot of the times we like to talk about points of interest, where maybe these teams are trying to go. Are they trying to go inside of X building? Are they trying to go for this or that? Are we going to see a lot of those fights potentially go down in mountain-like environments due to this ring?
If the ring stays where it is and it centers on itself and it doesn't pull really far north or really far south or to the west, I guess, yes. If it stays anywhere towards the center, towards the east, we're going to see a lot of hill fights. We're going to see a lot of tree combat, a lot of smokes, a lot of gas nades in those situations. Right now, all these teams are trying to rotate and get the center of the safe zone, and really the center of the safe zone with the most cover is actually just north of Humperdinck Reserve. There's a few good spots in the reserve area on the mountain. The majority of the areas, though, with solid building cover are going to be to the north, and that's where we're going to see those teams start to gravitate towards. We're going to see LG, Alliance, Gangstar, some of those guys start filling those spots in. Now, who's going to be the odd man out, though? I'm just taking a glance at the map. Unless Impact may be in the warehouses, but it looks like they're moving at the moment. So if they're not in those warehouses, if we end up cutting to them, they might be the odd man out over there. There's not enough cover for all of the teams.
Well, we have a very late rotation coming in here from Set to Destroy X. We also have a late rotation coming in from Vitality, as you can see on their map. So this gives them basically, hey, look, you can come in and breach. You can take these fights. You can come in and potentially pinch, but you need to be getting into very, very well covered areas to be doing it. Dead center right now pretty much is going to be Epsilon. We already have talked about how they like to set up nice and early on, Jason. Is this one of the positions that they tend to thrive in?
This could be one, as long as they don't end up getting pinched there. They're kind of in what would be more of like the valley of the mountain there. It kind of comes down from 2 sides, so if they get pushed from both sides, it could be disastrous, but Vitality is really going to kind of determine what that situation looks like up there. Vitality has a chance because there is good cover, and down along that south side of Humperdinck Reserve, there's some really solid cabin cover and some other POIs that they can make use of and then rotate up the mountain with full cover.
Important to know the topography of the map if you want to come out on top. That is definitely going to be the case. And we're seeing a little bit of a slower start here, which means it's just going to be that much crazier when we actually do see the action a little bit later on as it gets tighter and tighter. And ultimately, we will see these teams with less real estate to work with. Only one player has gone down so far, and that's on the side of Gangstars. But we can hear the sweet sound of shots being fired out. Trying to figure out who is doing it. And Jason, we're also seeing and hearing another sound that is quite familiar to us.
Yeah, that's going to be the bomb planes coming through. So we do have airdrops. It's something that we haven't talked about yet. Airdrops come through and they drop onto the map. Inside of those airdrops, you will find Kevlar armors, which are 2-hit armors, and you can find the hunting rifle. It's not in every one of those, but the only place to get it is inside of those crates that hit the ground. The players will find them on the map with green smoke coming out. When they do grab it, it'll send off a red flare notifying everybody else in the area that they have grabbed it. So they're high-risk, high-reward situations that these guys may want to go for. It really depends on where that airdrop hits. And then what we just heard is the bomb plane, and you got to worry about that coming through because it's just going to carpet bomb the area, and being in the middle of that doesn't work out too well.
That's no way to treat a vehicle.
That car, what have they done? I guess they don't. It's just gone. It is cruising.
I guess maybe they're a little bit scared of it getting shot, and you can see right now they're going to just decide they have a death wish out for vehicles. They want to destroy every vehicle on the planet. Coming in right now, dropping in those magnum shots on that vehicle, trying to get it to explode is going to be pineapples after they just throw the police car down the cliff.
What if you're the team at the bottom of the hill and the car just comes ghost riding past you? Maybe it's a confusion tactic.
I'm confused. It seems to be working. Ultimately, though, Pineapple's still trying to get those shots.
200 IQ.
We can see it is going to be Impact Gaming, very close to Gangstars. Gangstars, the first team to lose a player.
And we're going to see that airdrop out there, too, that we were talking about previously for some of the people at home that may not have seen it before. That is one of the airdrops sitting right there. That is a really, really out in the open airdrop. If it's not already grabbed, it's probably not worth going for now. Way too high risk. Interesting right now. Set to destroy outside the circle, making a late rotation in. This is not something that we usually see them do. We usually see them sitting at the edge of the gas there, but this late of rotating in, being the last team in, we never see that. Set to destroy is usually in a bit earlier.
Well, honestly, we kind of saw it last game.
Yeah, we did last game.
They've been gas goalies throughout the entire day here, and I'm curious if they're going to show us something that we don't know, because I really do want to think back to that one death. If they don't ultimately choke out there, it almost seems like the high percentage play. The gunfight against Rogue would have gone completely differently, and Rogue goes on to actually come being one of those winning teams in that first game. So I want to keep an eye on what they're doing, because we've already seen them be a dominant force so far. I think they're on to something, but a few more deaths going to be coming in here, Jay.
And all of them on Gangstars. So far, Impact Gaming and Set to Destroy have both netted one elimination each. Both of them on Gangstars. So Gangstars already down. They're the only ones missing bodies on the map, and they're going to be down to 3 players going into the mid game, which is brutal. It's just not. It's not the way to be.
We saw that actually happening with CLG last game, and we all know how that went. But all of a sudden, Impact Gaming, a team that has been trying to make something work, they are in a position that they're basically in last, trying to claw their way back in. Will they be able to do it? They're in this extended gunfight. It doesn't look like they're getting what they need to be getting.
Yeah, Cutie Venom trying to get up here, get his team on to target on Vitality. Heart rate was through the roof, though. So definitely high-stress situations here. I wonder if being in the position that they are overall in the leaderboards, that plays into that stress, if that's adding and compounding that issue. Maybe that's what's spiking that heart rate up. Don't want to have another early exit.
I mean, watching them right now, my heart rate is absolutely through the roof. You can see Vitality just circling around, trying to figure out when the right time to dive in. If you want to breach on any team at the moment, it really does seem like it may be Impact Gaming. But we also know when you're stuck in a corner and you have nothing to lose, maybe that is where Impact will find their feet. Maybe that's where they'll start looking like a new team. But one thing that does not look new is the car that Vitality's riding on in with, but they're going for just that, the breaching play, and they're going to be honking that horn, letting them know they are coming straight on through.
Yeah, you can see that combat has begun, and we are going to be right on board with that replacement player, Tipsy, as he comes in looking for the shots on Vitality, and he is going to get put down. Vitality still 5 up, 2 players down for Impact Gaming. Vitality now looking to get another one as they find Cutie Venom. They have not dropped their single player yet, and they are going to wipe Impact. So that is exactly what you said was going to happen, but now in comes Gangstars as they get an elimination onto May. So Vitality at the end of that fight now getting punished by Gangstars.
Oh my goodness, this is looking really bad for Vitality. They may just all be taken out here. There is no reason that this fight should not be chased. But ultimately, Vitality may just run right into another team. They're just trying to get out of Dodge as fast as possible. They're going to need to hop out of this car, otherwise it could just be taken out. And that breaching play, honking your horn, letting everyone know exactly where you are, may not have been the move, because that calls in the pinch, and they get wiped up. Rogue, once again, going to be able to find a kill. It's going to be on a squad that has been very close to them throughout our entire leaderboard. It's going to be on to Echo Fox.
And Rogue looking for a couple shots here. Magnum coming out from Stormin as he tries to find those shots into Echo Fox, as you were saying, looking to take away those vehicles as they lose a vehicle of their own. I mean, I want to talk about Vitality there for a second. They did make that play. They made the push. I think they made the right decision on who to push, but they needed to move. They knew CLG was out there behind them somewhere. They knew there was other teams around. Not sure why they didn't try to get back in and move quickly there, but some nice shots coming out, and that kill feed is lighting up as Cloud9 is going off.
Look who's getting taken out. We're seeing just left and right set to destroy X. They're only going to have one player left. All of a sudden, we're starting to see this week get cracked wide open. CLG finally getting their footing. They have looked like a team that is just not adapting. They looked like they were not going to be able to play the kill meta, and now they are going to be our kill leaders finally. Is this new shot caller working for them? And now their target going to be none other than Epsilon. They're out for all the top dogs.
They are looking for everybody. Gangstar is going to be leaving the arena there for us, or leaving the stage. Impact Gaming also the other one out, so we are down to 13 teams remaining. Grimmy, I think, is making an impact as they get used to this, and Sweet Dream's going to get bodied out by that shotgun. Freck's going to go down to Melander elsewhere on the map, and C9 starting to drop at the hands of Epsilon, our second place team. And right now with Set to Destroy where they're currently at, Epsilon has a chance to make up some points. They could go big here.
All of a sudden, we're going to see these shotgun fights, and it is just back and forth, a game of tug of war, and it looks like CLG should be able to come out on top in this engagement, and we are getting very, very close to our top 10 teams, and a squad that was able to get 0 points in round 1 is getting close to that multiplier area. It's looking a little bit more dire on the side of Cloud9. Only 2 players going to be left up, but they have gotten quite a few points in their back pocket.
So, I mean, I'm cheating the system here right now. Flowers is getting lit up at the moment. Actually, let's see if he, see what goes down here as he tries to get out of there, takes another bullet to the back, but it looks like they're going to be able to get out of there on the ATVs, and he has decided to lock in on Fjeldern, looking to get some shots into him. Out comes the AK, looking to now get the fight. Grimmy going to come in and punish him. CLG going to pick up some more eliminations. Nightwalker also getting Adrian.
CLG looking like absolute monsters this time around. What has changed? They're looking for more as well. And coming out, it's going to be the player from Alliance. They do find Yogi from LG. Still trying to get a little bit more in the works. MP going to be able to take down Sign. And he's still healthy as well as he moves into the smoke. Going to be dropping more and more smoke, investing everything into this fight. So many teams can jump into the fray right now. And this is where pinches can get very, very dangerous indeed. Epsilon, though, they have every single player of their squad up. We know this is where they thrive. Will they be looking for those pinches? Obey Alliance, a team that has struggled, finding Rogue. Aladdin going to make that one look nice and easy, Jason.
Yeah, Riki not turning to take that fight, ends up getting taken down by Aladdin. Aladdin now turning his attention onto Huskers. Going to swap to that Magnum. Car on fire. Huskers needs to get out of it. Car explodes. Doesn't get any damage into him. Aladdin going to miss a few easy shots there, and then Huskers is going to go down to the hands of Lifted. Aladdin rushing a few shots there, but Lifted able to pick that up.
Obey Alliance, they're just able to lock onto these teams. They're doing such a good job here of just actually working as a unit, getting all their crosshairs on the same place, but one crosshair goes down in Teenage. Now it's going to be G's. G's with a little bit of help from Carta, doing the same thing that Obey Alliance was able to do. They're going to be able to find this kill, and they are not done yet. Obey Alliance looking for the fights, but Aladdin, that magic carpet is just tattered right now. Those shots could explode at any moment here, and now Grimmy Bear going to be on fire, and not in the good way. Gets out the stop, drops, and rolls, but it's Apex Shay with a laser beam who just takes him down, and now it's going to be Kriyank looking for the snapper on to that revenge kill from Epsilon, but in the wings, he's just going to be tattered to shreds.
Nowhere that he could go. Both sides were covered there. There was no safe spot on that tree. Looked like he was out of smokes. Nightwalker, though, going to finally go down on CLG. Obey Alliance still here in a fight with Noble. Class going to go down, and it's down to Aladdin. They connect! Lifted, and they're looking to connect onto Shurima. Lifted going to hop through that smoke, get a little bit of cover. Aladdin going to find an oddball spot to stop for a second. Looked like he was trying to go for a heal. Shurima going to find Shurima going to find Lifted. I almost said Shurima finds Shurima. He finds Lifted. Lifted going to go down and leave Aladdin all by his lonesome.
And keep in mind, if Aladdin goes down here, he's going to be able to get one on the way out, but ultimately he chokes to that toxic gas, and he will find himself out of that point multiplier. Now it's only going to be our top 4, and the Storm, we're right in the eye of it right now. Dropped, going to be rotating on the outside. You can see TSM very early on, going to see Set to Destroy X. Set to Destroy X, just one player, just Prodigy Aces. He has 4 points. It would be huge to actually get that 2-point multiplier, but he just gets chewed up by everyone on the map. Going to be Carta and Jace who get the most damage done, and now our top 3 teams. Can TSM pull ahead here? They have the man advantage, or will we see Epsilon, that second place team for so long, get back to first?
This is the meta that these guys like to play. Both TSN and Epsilon play very well in in-game situations and closing out matches. This is old school meta now. Once you get down to this few of teams, it's just plain final circles. Both these teams do it very well. Tempo Storm in the worst spot, having to rotate through open field. Drop already has eyes on him, looking to get an elimination into Rhino. Shellshock on the other side, though, with the hunting rifle, gonna take down Apex Shay.
And all of a sudden, it may look like it gets turned around on Epsilon. We're seeing these teams work together, getting almost a pinch going. Rhino is going to be one of the big hopes for his squad. Has that good positioning. You can see Drop rotating around as well. And Rhino, just like that, is going to be found in that bad position all of the sudden. And it's going to be Zach trying to get some shots out while his teammate heals up. But TSM does find the kill onto Ballad, and they're not done yet. They take down FJ as well. And all of a sudden, we see Epsilon finishing in 3rd place. It's the battle between TSM and Tempo Storm. And Tempo Storm is severely disadvantaged here. And we know that multiplier could be absolutely massive, Jason.
Ooh, friendly fire coming in. Zach going to take one in the back. Drop is going to go down, though. Zach finding 1. There is 3v2 now. We're looking for the shots from Shellshock. He's got that hunting rifle. We're looking for the power play, but it doesn't matter because Carta is going to come in and get that final elimination. And TSM rolling over from last week, maintaining momentum, showing that they're finally figuring out this meta.
And this was one of the teams that we said we may need to watch. Were they going to be able to find their legs? And ultimately, we see a very different week here in week 6 than we have seen in the other weeks. We don't see these incredibly high-scoring games at all, relatively on the low end. For the most part, Team Solomon going to be able to get 22 points here. But the thing is this one, Set to Destroy X, ends up in a similar place with 6. This isn't necessarily where we're going to see the teams get enough of catch-up, because you see 9 coming in for Epsilon, you see 6 coming in for Set to Destroy X, so you're catching up like 10 points on a team that has 144 points.